I'm still really proud of that intro.
I
What's
love
up?
it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chillporial. Tonight we are going to be talking retro gaming and Ocarina of Time. And with me is first-time guest and retro gamer and game designer and game philosopher J.Bongo. What's going on? Is that the proper way to pronounce it?
Yeah, J.Bongo is good. Jason is my first name. J.Bongo either.
What's up, Jason? I'm Brian.
Nice to meet you, Brian. Nice to be here. One quick clarification. I like to study game design. I like to study game design philosophy, but I'm not actually a game designer. I've never designed a game myself, so I don't want to mislead anyone.
Okay, so the mistake was all me. So like Naked Gun, that meme.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
Yeah, I still haven't watched. I think that's the third Naked Gun. I saw the new one in the theater over the weekend, and I rewatched. I watched like the second one, the original Leslie Nielsen one, and the second one. So, all right, okay. So Jason, thanks for doing this. I figure share something about how we first interacted on X. So you are a big you're a big gamer, big Zelda fan. And I think the first time I interacted with you, I'm still I still do this, but I try to communicate why I didn't like Breath of the Wild, and that's how we first talked. That's how we first communicated, and you didn't dismiss it. You actually were like, oh, I get it. You're like, oh, I get it. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I kind of like this guy. And then I started looking at your tweets. I started following you. I was like, wow, I connect with this guy with J.Bongo a lot more. So I started, responding to stuff. So I think that's how we first I think it's for how we first interacted. But yeah, so obviously, Breath of the Wild, I don't think is a bad game. It's just it's not the Zelda that I was hoping for. But then again, I was hoping for Ocarina or something like Ocarina.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I totally understand. I really love Breath of the Wild, not because it followed the same formula. I think for me it was just in a weird way it evoked that same childlike sense of exploration that Ocarina did for me when I played as a kid. Mm-hmm. But I totally understand why people get upset when the formula of a game changes so drastically. And I think that's incredibly valid to be like, I don't like this game for that reason. I understand.
Oh yeah. Because like now I don't know if you'll agree with this. Maybe I could be wrong, but I don't think there's any other games that are like 3D Zelda, like Ocarina, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. Mm-hmm. So when they changed the formula to something more, you can disagree with me on this, more typical of an open world. I mean, there's Zelda elements. I'll give them. Mm-hmm. I'll obviously give them that. I think the game is gorgeous, and I think some of the mechanics are great. I love the. I don't know if it's the first time they ever used the gliding mechanic. Didn't they use the? I mean, I know they did something like that with. They had a very brief glide in Majora's Mask, and
Skyward Sword had it to like stop your fall, but you couldn't use it to like.
And it also used up the stamina meter, if I remember correctly, right? Because I know the stamina stuff started with Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
that's a game I only played once. Believe it or not,
I have to admit, I didn't get through it. I don't know what it was about. I know the whole story. I love the story. I think it's actually one of the better stories in the series. The HD game is beautiful on the Switch. But it was just something about the design of it and the gameplay that didn't quite grab me.
Yeah, the original motion controls were rough. Mm-hmm. It took me a while to get used to it. The thing that redeemed that game for me was the fact that you can, like, I hated the shield breaking mechanic, and then they expanded it with the the weapons breaking in Breath of the Wild. I hated that. So I never had a shield until the end. So the end, I got the shield. Don't worry, chat. I'll say hello. I got the when you could get like an unbreakable shield. That's what kind of redeemed the game for me. And I remember I was sitting up like this fighting Demise, the final boss. Like I felt like I was really fighting him with
Nice.
with the motion and all that. But yeah, okay, I'll say hi. So I'll say hi to the chat. So we had from earlier Lord of the Forbidden Decks. Nice. Easily top 5. Yes. Got the
Yep.
Writer Brothers. Got Salty Traveling Sea, my friend. I'm going to meet him for the first time in September. Going to convention. Ernest Ferratu, the vampire. Yeah, Ernest. Yeah. And we got Fear Monarch. Oh, we complain about modern Zelda. I came to the right place. Well, I'm complaining about it. J.Bongo loves
I
modern Zelda.
got some complaints. Don't
Okay.
talk about Tears. We can talk about Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I DNF'd Tears of the Kingdom. So I started. I played one of the dungeons. I actually played the Sky Dungeon. So I went. I actually kind of like the trek going up the going up the steps or up the floating rocks to get to that Sky Temple. But I just felt like I already put like 50 hours into the game, and I barely scratched the surface. And I'm like, I don't want to play this game for 1,000 hours. That was another issue I had with Breath of the Wild. I felt I put too much time into the game, and it just didn't pay off, at least the way I would expect from a Zelda game. So I mean, yes, there was exploration, and I liked the way they hid the the shrines. Kind of sick of, I got sick of the shrines after like maybe 20 of them, to be honest, because they all end the same way. It's the exact same end result. But hey, the puzzles were actually, some of them were actually really well designed. So I was going to ask you, like, what when it comes to game design, like what do you look for?
Well, that's a good question, and I've actually been trying to nail that down. Actually today on X, a developer or game designer I follow, I forget their name, they posted something about how like games are all about choice, and the idea that the player has to feel like the choices that they make matter, and those choices I'm not talking about like a decision tree like in The Witcher or some of those other bigger games. I'm just talking about like the decision to attack this boss the way that I want, or to move about the stage in the way that I want. Like you choose something, and then something happens, and it's visible, and you can see it, and it has an impact on the player. So I guess for me, what I'm looking for is that core gameplay loop. Not just that it's engaging, but it actually engages the player in a way that doesn't. This is going to sound weird. Doesn't take agency away from them.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example. If you read through my my Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time posts, one of the big things I love Ocarina of Time. It's definitely, if not my favorite game, it's definitely in the top 5. One of the biggest flaws in that game, design-wise, and I think this is due to the fact that this was really new technology that Nintendo was working with here, was there's a lot of waiting in Zelda, especially with the combat. And if older people like myself, if you're a fan of the old internet, there was a video called Sequelitis put out by one of the Game Grumps, Aaron Hansen, and he talked about this. And think what you want about them. I do think he actually does know some things about game design. But I think in this case, he's right. And it's like when you're fighting Lizalfos, like the first one that you fight is in Jabba Jabba's belly, I think.
No, Dodongo's cavern. When they're hopping on the lava platforms. Yeah,
I got the red background mixed up with Jabba Jabba's belly.
So you have to wait for them to hit you, or wait for them to attack, and then you shield them, and then you hit. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, exactly. And them, the Stalfos are a bit. It's not as bad with them because they have a faster attack rate, and you can interrupt their attack with an attack of your own. So there's a bit more of like I'm choosing to risk something, and if I screw up, I'm going to pay for it. But if I don't screw up, I'm going to have an immediate reward in getting a hit.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Lizalfos, all I have to do is stand still, hold the R button, block, attack. And so basically what that is it's do I control the pace of the battle or do I not? And in a lot of games, like the Souls games where, that's part of the design of the game is the player. I can go in for that hit if I want to and be safe, or I can get risky and try to get in that other hit and possibly die. But the point is I have the choice to do that. A lot of the bosses in Ocarina of Time, you have to wait for them to do something and then you respond. The only one that doesn't do that is the last boss, Ganon, and my favorite boss in the game because it's just so epic.
The demon Ganon, right?
Yes.
Not Ganondorf, floating, and
Yep.
you have to wait for him to shoot the lightning bolt or the lightning ball at you. You have to smack it back at him,
which is fun in its own right. Again, like you can design a boss in a way where the player doesn't control the pace of the battle, and it's still fun. But you just have to make sure that they don't notice that the pace of the battle is not in their control. So like, I suggested like put some keys in the battle with the Stalfos, so that way my attention is
the bats.
Yeah, the bats. Yeah, I was using the Zelda politically correct term. The bats,
because they call them keys, but then in the same dungeon you look for keys. Keys.
Yeah.
Keys.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But like if you put them in the battle with the Lizalfos, your attention's divided, and so now that attention divide gets you not bored. You're paying attention to the keys that are the bats that are coming from behind or the sides, while also waiting for your opportune moment to strike.
Which enemy is the worst when it comes to like waiting and all that? Wolfos. Because they move towards you, then they flip and dodge you. Like what are you doing? I'm just attack me already. Come on.
Exactly. The best normal enemy is the Iron Knuckle, and the Iron Knuckle. I always enjoyed fighting them, and even in my playthrough, it's like I'm always like I'm gonna get that extra head in, and then they just wail on me.
I think they really take 4 hearts, don't they? If you don't have
Which I wonder if it's out there. If someone made like a hard mode. I'm a big hard mode guy. I always love a bit of a challenge, but
apparently I've never played hard mode. I just found this out. Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3 have a hard mode. I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever played that. So I'm going to have to revisit it and try to play the hard mode because I played those games. I liked your review of those games as well, covering 2 and 3. 3 gets a little love, in my opinion. Everybody hates Kitty because Kitty is annoying. Like I forget why everybody hated the character because he was new and he was a baby and he was annoying.
Yeah, anytime you take a beloved character, and this sounds like a no-brainer, but like I don't know why people don't seem to understand this, but when you take a beloved character and then you replace them with another character that people don't know, people naturally have this adverse reaction to it. It's just a natural thing that happens. It's like if you're going to swap out a main character with another main character, you're going to get pushback. And thankfully that was the days before the internet. So
I heard it was because they replaced Diddy with him and everybody liked Diddy compared to what's funny is I didn't think about back then when I was playing them, I didn't think about it much, but then after like 64 came out and then Country Returns, years after that, I was thinking about the original, Super Nintendo DKC trilogy. I was like, Donkey Kong, the title character, is only playable in the
The
first
first
game,
game.
and that's it. Out of the so Diddy and Dixie's in more games than Donkey. So like like, and
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that they couldn't stand at Rare, they couldn't stand the Nintendo staff, so they didn't want to use Donkey Kong for that reason, just to spite them. But I've been reading that it was because they just wanted to, they wanted to create their own characters and
Yeah.
and play around with different mechanics. And so Dixie has the hair so she can kind of glide, a little bit. And
they did a good job at and just quickly, just to answer Anti-Derivative Girl, yes, that is hard mode. I did that on Majora's Mask. It was a ton of fun.
Majora's Mask is tough, normal.
Incredible game. Yes, DK. Okay, so back to DKC. Yes, the games, the three games do an excellent job of building off one another. So it's like if you enter in just completely blind in DK3, you'll be able to do it. It's fine. But if you play I feel like the game was designed with the assumption that everyone played the first two games. They don't have to waste time bringing you up to speed on how to roll or how to do things, but they can introduce new mechanics that build off everything that was put in before. It's a bit of like an intuitive design stuff going on. Like everyone intuitively knows that Donkey Kong or the character can roll by hitting Y, and then they can jump with B, and so then they can build off of that.
Yeah, I compared to the Mario games, the Donkey Kong games feel more dynamic because you're moving around a lot more. You're bouncing off of. I mean, you bounce off of enemies too in Mario. Obviously, I mean that's probably where the mechanic came from in the first place. But especially if you play some of the later ones, like Tropical Freeze or Returns, it gets insanely, like the whole level becomes so dynamic. Like the environments change. That's one thing I liked about the newer games was like how the environments changed around you when you got far enough. You could the sunset. You had the silhouetted level, which was copied in a whole bunch of other platformers after that. So but like the way the environments sometimes like the platforms will move or something, and or the ground will shake or give way or something. You have to get out of there. It's stuff like that I really liked. And I like the challenge of especially when it comes to timing. Like I like timing challenges where you have to be pretty precise in order to proceed in platformers, because platformers, when me growing up, Nintendo Super Mario Brothers was my first game, and so all the games I played up until I was 11 were basically either platformers or Zelda. It was like Zelda was the only adventure game. I mean, there were some Sunsoft games I played that weren't platformers either, like Fester's Quest or Blaster's Master back in the day. But those were like the only things that were not platformers that I played. So, but everything else was a platformer.
Yeah. I think that's the natural progression of like 2D platformers, is to get them to the point. You want the player to be at a point where they can just breeze, they can just go through the level. Like you watch Mario speedruns, and Donkey Kong, the DKC series, and especially the newer ones for the Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Returns, they knew people were going to speedrun this game. You beat it, you can start getting the timer, after you beat it. And the levels are designed so that it's almost like some of the levels, if you hesitate, you're going to die. They want you to just blow through it as fast as possible.
And I know some games like to lull you in with a false sense of security. So you're like, oh, you can jump there, nothing will happen. Then all of a sudden, an enemy will just pop up out of the woodwork, and you're like, oh crap, and then you die.
Yeah, like, messes up your rhythm.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of So like I kind of try to capture that whenever I try to create a Super Mario Maker level, and let's just say I am an amateur when it comes to that. So
I know I've only made a few.
the whenever what I like is I like it when there's like secrets and there's incentives to I mean, my favorite thing is exploration. That's why I mean I love Ocarina of Time and Zelda. But I like it when even platformers like Mario kind of encourage you to reward you for exploring, or kind of thinking of new ways of approaching a level. In other
Yeah,
words, like you have a pit. Let's say you're on a pipe, and then there's a pit. There's a pit, and there's a pipe here. There's a pit here where my pen is, and then there's another pipe. Well, maybe it's not a pit. Maybe we don't see it. Maybe outside the frame. Maybe there's another pipe down there.
yeah.
It's stuff like that that I like. That kind of makes me like, maybe I should try it. Maybe I should
Yeah.
jump down. Does it
Yep.
always work? No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But
Or you
I
always
like it. I like it when the game kind of makes an impression on you, and you're like, okay, that might be possible,
yeah.
and that kind of gives me reason to want to keep playing and want to keep
Right.
leaving no stone unturned, basically.
Yeah. See, that's really interesting because that's why I loved Breath of the Wild. um, the the way that they design that world is so like if you have you ever played like Fallout, one of the newer Fallouts, or The Witcher 3,
I mean,
or any of those types
I
of big
played New
sandbox
Vegas. I
games?
don't know if New
Yeah,
Vegas is
okay.
considered a new one.
New Vegas, yeah. But if you at the end of that game, you look at the map and it's a sandbox, and there's just every like it's almost the whole map is covered with stuff. And one of the big complaints that people had about Breath of the Wild was that they felt like the map was empty. And what I've come to understand is I think that was an intentional choice by Nintendo, because the like if you climb to any point in it and you look at the horizon, you're going to see at least 3 points of interest, and that's by design. And the way the world itself is made is so that it's almost like the exploration itself has a gameplay loop. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, and when you go up, you see a new thing you want to go to, and then you go to it. And even though you know that at some point in the game there's going to be it's most likely going to be like either a Korok seed or a shrine, you might you might come across a Leviathan, or you might see a dragon, or there was just enough of those twists.
Which one was the Leviathan? I'm trying to remember now.
It was the big skeletons
Okay.
that you find that were like people think it's the windfish, the one with the flat head from Skyward Sword, and Jabu Jabu. The windfish is the clearest one to identify because it has a little like wing bones on its back.
Yeah.
But that was before Tears of the Kingdom messed up the canon, which we can talk about. But that's exploration is really big with me too. And if I can explore and if I can discover, that's a pretty big draw for me. And I totally understand why if people wanted more or less from Breath of the Wild. But for me, I was happy with its content and its length. Like I'm okay putting a game down at some point. I don't need.
Did you beat it? Did you beat it close to 100%?
No.
I beat it, so I didn't get all the Korok seeds, so that would make it 100%. I got sick of those after a while, but I beat all the shrines, all 120 of them. I think a good 20 to 30 of them were like the same like feat of strength, fighting one of those what are they called, sentinels or
guardians.
Sentinels are matrix.
They're kind of the same.
So so 30 of those were okay, maybe not 30, but close. But the climbing mechanic was interesting, especially you had the rain, and then you had the you had the stamina meter, which kind of limits it. You have to have limitations, because if you don't have
Yes.
limitations,
It's
part of
boring.
the fun is having limitations, and of course finding ways to kind of overcome it, be
Yep.
creative, and like you said, have a little agency in determining how to get around it. So but I liked that there were aspects I liked. The Lionel fights, I think the Lionel fights were better than the boss fights, in my opinion. Like the
Yeah,
Lionel
I can.
fights
Yep.
were
Yeah, I
tough.
would
Like
agree with that.
you could not, like when you first encounter a Lionel, you couldn't fight it. Like you had to
Yeah.
go grab the item and get out of dodge before it
Yeah, yeah.
spots you. So, and it was the red Lionel, it was the easy Lionel. And I didn't
Yep.
even realize it, but like there was that parallel to the original game, because the original game, the easier enemies were red and the
Yeah.
harder enemies were blue,
Yep.
like Lionel.
Yep.
Where do
Exactly. Yeah.
where I didn't realize it was the same enemy that also shoots, like you shoot the sword beams at people.
Hmm.
Well, the Lionel shoots sword beams at you,
Yeah.
and can
Yep.
take like 2 hearts away, I think, if you're just in your green tunic, before you
Hmm.
get the blue ring or the red ring. So
Yep.
um but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
no, you go.
Okay. What I was going to add is that the I played it. I got a bunch of the Korok seeds. I pretty much got everything except the Korok seeds. Once I did try to get all of the locations, because again, like I'm a big lore guy. Like I love the Zelda lore. I love lore of Lord of the Rings. Nice. Yeah, I got them up here.
And
Nice.
I bought this. I had to buy this one, because I think, what was it, gamers were bullying Nintendo to like say, come on, make a timeline for us, and they're like,
Yeah.
whatever, okay,
Yeah.
we'll make you a timeline, and
Yeah.
we'll do the Back to the Future Part 2 approach, where the focal point time will be Ocarina of Time. And
Yeah.
then,
Yes.
and because I'm an Ocarina, because I made that retrospective, big
Yeah.
fan. I was like, what, I'm okay with that. I was actually okay with that decision. So
Yeah.
everything revolves around Ocarina,
Yeah.
well, until Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so
Yes.
to speak. So
But what I was gonna say is, uh, Breath of the Wild has a lot of environmental storytelling, which is just by observing a location, you're told a story. Like there's a section of the map where it's in the Hydra Mountains, where it almost looks like there's a big circle just kind of like shot right through the mountain, and it's like a big chunk out of it, but it's a complete circle,
yeah,
and people have hypothesized like, oh, this was a big blast from one of the divine beasts, or the Leviathans again, or you get to the Arbiter's grounds, you get to the giant statues in the desert. Like Breath of the Wild did a really good job of providing more questions to the lore that I thought was it both it both answered and didn't answer questions. It both answered some questions, and then it also caused more questions. And I think you need that in a canon of lore. If you try to explain everything, which is my biggest problem with Tears of the Kingdom, then you take all the mystery out of it. And Breath of the Wild had a ton of mystery to it in the way they designed the world. So even though, like, you get to the Lon Lon Ranch ruins, like
yeah,
you just know it was destroyed. You don't know if it's the same one from Ocarina. You don't know if it's there's a lot of questions you have about it, and
yeah,
that in itself, to me, it's like, oh, I did find a Korok seed, but it was better than finding a Korok seed. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's almost like a meta reward for
I
the larger story.
I think they're speaking of storytelling. What do you say, environmental storytelling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought the one thing that was interesting, and I kind of wish they did more of it. And I don't. You'll have to you'll have to tell me if they repeat this in Tears of the Kingdom, but the the images, and you have to find the images that will unlock Link's memory. So, but like you said, like you said, like 100 years. Well, I found it. I kind of found it hard to believe it was 100 years, but whatever. It's 100 years, and lot has changed since then. Like the world kind of went to hell. There's fewer people. It's mostly ruinous and all that. And Zelda's been Ganon's purple play toy thing for 100 years. So I did like in the beginning how the king of Hyrule charged you with finding her and all that, and you could go right. You could try to get to Hyrule Castle in the center of the land right away, but you're gonna get sniped by one of those guardians, those mechanical guardians. So
you immediately have agency. You immediately have a choice, and you could go out of the cave and take a left and do whatever you want. And some people really liked that. I like to follow the story, so I didn't deviate too much from the path, but that's something that was definitely like not a wrench thrown in it, but it was definitely a surprise to be like, okay, go be Ganon, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what my favorite part of that game was. I didn't really care for. I mean, the Guardian Beasts were fine, but they didn't really fill that hole of those of the classic dungeons. That and when I was going into Breath of the Wild initially, I mean, I gave it a chance. I mean, Nintendo has spent years building really goodwill with me. I mean, I played. I don't know what order you played the Zelda games in. I actually played them. I played Zelda 2 first because it was the only game at the video store that I went to that had it. So I rented that. They didn't have original Zelda. But once I got through the Mario games, my parents bought me all 3 Mario games. That's when they got me the Nintendo initially. So I got through all the Mario games, and then my parents bought me Zelda right after that. So I got the first Zelda, and then I got Zelda 2 the following month for Christmas. So I got my birthday and Christmas are like a month apart. So I was able. So November, December are my favorite months growing up for a reason. So those are the months I actually got new video games. So but like I didn't beat them in order, but I played all the games. I initially played them almost in order. So like I got those 2, and then Link to the Past came out. Link to the Past was the first game was the first Zelda that I beat.
Right.
Because the first 2, I mean, I was 6. I was 6 years old playing Zelda and Zelda 2, and I didn't understand the cryptic hints that the old men in the caves gives you. So like I couldn't find Ganon's castle or level 9 in the first game for years, and level 7 I couldn't get through because I didn't know. Like I only thought you could move like blocks if they were separate from everything, if they weren't in contact. But there's like a C, like a bracket C, right, like this, and you have to push the one that's on the vertical line. You have to push the one in the middle in order to open the secret door in level 7 in order to beat it. So that took me years to figure out. And then Zelda 2, took me years to figure out that there was a secret town in the forest. Like I didn't know how to find the town. I just accidentally pressed a button and there was the town. And then there was I couldn't figure out how to get into the Great Palace. The Great Palace. So the first 5 palaces were visible. The 6th palace was not visible. You had to play the flute or the whistle, that flute, in a particular location in order for that palace to appear. So you see three stones almost lined up like a diamond. But if there was a 4th one there, if there was a fourth stone there, if you go in the middle and play it, how would you know that unless you knew the hints, or you could figure it out? So
Yeah.
I found that out by accident, and that's how I finally beat Zelda 2. And that was when I was a teenager, or I was like 12. This is right before Ocarina came out. Years after I beat Link to the Past, I finally beat those first two games, and it took me even more time to beat the second quest in original Zelda, where you type the name Zelda. That was even hard because all the dungeons were hidden. Almost all the dungeons were hidden in that second quest.
Yeah. So I actually have never beaten the first two. My first Zelda experience was with A Link to the Past. My friend had it. He let me borrow it, and I played it. It didn't make as big an impact on me as like the other SNES games I had: Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3, Mega Man X.
Mega Man X.
Yeah,
that was my first Mega Man too.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I love that game. But that's what, even though I liked it and enjoyed it, there was the advent of 3D, and then Zelda comes out after Mario, and it is just something completely different. I'm so glad that like we got to live through the transition from 2D to 3D, because the leaps in technology these days, the kids don't know.
I mean, yeah, the kids don't know. It was fun. It was so funny. It was like I'm kind of, I would love to know like what was going through like Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka and all those guys working at Nintendo, designing, going from going from 2D Mario to 3D Mario. And so you go from like a 2D stage based game, platform with platformers, from starting point A and you go obviously in the X direction or the horizontal direction, and get to point B and conclude the level. And how would you convert that to 3D? Well,
yeah,
instead of doing like Super Mario 3D World style, they did a sandbox. It was basically the sandbox style that you see in Mario 64, and those became the new stages. So it wasn't just going from it was still going from point A to point B, but there was also point C, there was point D. Each star was a different point in the level, and sometimes the points did not avail themselves until like for instance, in the first star in Mario 64, you cannot enter the cannon yet, so you can't go to that island, and you can't go to that island in the sky. What do you have to do? Well, you have to go up the mountain and fight that jerk King Babam and throw his ass off the cliff. That's what I always do, because I just love doing that. And then he jumps back up. He's like, "No fair, you can't do that."
Yeah.
I think one time I just did it for like 10 minutes straight. And I was like, "Okay, this is getting boring." And I just beat him, and I just defeat him. But you couldn't do it right away. I liked how you had to unlock that, and I it felt like a natural progression to 2D level design. That doing the whole 3D, doing the 3D, the Mario 64 sandbox style.
Yeah, and I think kind of to bring it back full circle to Donkey Kong Country 3, I do think that one of my favorite things about that game is they did have a hub world. The map itself, it was the first. It was like, I think it was like the proto hub world, where they were really starting to think like, okay, what if the first two games are pretty linear. You can only go from this world to this world to this world. But what if like you could just move around the map wherever you wanted? And I think that's really kind of got them thinking about that. And then the hub world design came in, and then that was like the standard for so long, which Nintendo set. And then you had
Did they do hub worlds in other games before Mario 64? I mean, it's the first game I've ever played that had a hub world. And then you go.
I can't think of any. I tried to think of one, but maybe a PlayStation game. I'm sure PlayStation had some for it.
Did Crash? I mean, what came out before Mario 64?
No, Crash Bandicoot didn't. I don't think it did. I think it had a linear trajectory.
And
Um,
were the Spyro games out before then, or did they come out after
Spyro
Mario?
came out a few years later, and Croc as well.
Croc, I
Uh,
actually remember. I remember the commercials for
yeah,
Croc.
me too. There's actually
Okay.
a new like, I don't know if it's a port or a remake coming out in a few days or in a few weeks on Steam. I'm kind of interested in playing it. But anyway, the Z targeting too is like another that that's still in games. Like you play Elden Ring,
Oh yeah,
you have
yeah,
a Z target
yep.
type deal going on. It's not called
I
Z
did.
target.
My buddy who I featured on my video, my Ocarina of Time video, has been trying to get me to play Dark Souls and all those, From Software games for years. And he brings up during his, because I let him, he basically, I let him, I said, hey, you want to be part of this video? I was like, yeah, sure. And so he started talking about his experience with Ocarina, and he did bring up, like, how it, got him into Elden Ring, and how it inspired Elden Ring. And so I put a few images there, and eventually him and another friend got me to actually play Elden Ring. And I've never played any From Software games.
Yeah,
So Elden Ring was my introduction to all
mine
that.
too.
And I swear, like, the hardest boss, and I didn't complete it yet. I kind of DNF'd it after there was a point in the game that really disappointed me in Elden Ring. And
Only one.
and it was something that I was like imagining if Zelda ever did this, and even Breath of the Wild didn't do this. Imagine if you were exploring like a big world. There's a lot. The game is tough. You need all the health you can get, right? And so you're collecting golden seeds in Elden Ring, and if you collect enough of them, you collect a few, you can upgrade your health, and then
Yeah.
upgrade your health further, you have to gather more golden seeds. Well, there's a
Mhm.
point in the game where the game just artificially caps you off. You're like, oh, even though there's more golden seeds out there, it doesn't let you upgrade any further. I'm like, what the heck is this? This is bull. Like, imagine continuing to find heart pieces in the world of Zelda, but the game doesn't let you,
Yeah.
get an additional heart container. That's bull crap, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And that just pissed me off to the point where I just DNF'd. I mean, I got pretty far. Like,
Yeah.
I was pretty far, but I DNF'd Elden Ring. It's been months since I played it because of that one thing.
Yeah. I
That's just
mean,
one thing you don't, as a Zelda fan and a Metroid fan, you don't do.
yeah. And that's why those little things matter. It's like a lot of I mean, when I post about tiny game mechanics or game details that I'm learning about, some people might think like, oh, that's not really a big deal, but if
Yeah,
enough
I was telling my
external
buddy
things
this, and my
happen,
buddy's like, it just, it's a
yeah,
big world, and people
some
don't have
people it is
time
a
to
big
find
deal.
everything. I'm like, that's not an excuse, but sorry, sorry to interrupt you.
No, yeah, that's the thing. It's like to some people it is a big deal, and if you have enough of those, I would say tiny game design flaws, they can really add up and turn a would be good game into a bad game.
I honestly don't think Elden Ring's a bad game. Like, I think the
Oh yeah, me
combat
too. I
is
think it's
so
great.
much fun. Like, yeah, technically Mexicans destroying me right now, but like like a lot of people try to cheat and use, like, get help. I was fighting all these bosses by myself, like just
Yeah,
me fighting them, just like fighting a boss in Zelda, except
yeah,
dying way more, and just like the one boss that like connects you to the DLC, where he
yeah,
has a trident. He
yeah,
looks
yep,
like
yep.
Ganon. He looks like Ganon
Yeah,
from
he does.
Link to the Past.
Yeah,
I was like, can you imagine if Zelda ever did, like, made a boss fight like that, like so super duper difficult,
yeah.
but
I
very
almost, I mean, I did wish that was one of my, I'd say like a consistent complaint about I have about the Zelda series is that it's easy. The combat is easy. The combat is easy. The puzzles are another thing. Sometimes they can get pretty complex in some of the games. Like one of my favorite entries is Link's Awakening. Uh,
okay.
Even like I've played it a number of
Did you
times as a kid. I played
did
it
you
a few
like
times with my
did you
son.
like the remake, the Switch remake?
I did. I like every version of that game.
Okay.
I think every version of that game is worth playing.
I don't know if I'm trying to remember if I've ever played the original Game Boy game, a Game Boy version. I know I played the deluxe, the color version, deluxe version.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever played the original version, to be
the
honest.
original on
Original without the color,
Game Boy.
without the deluxe. Yeah, on the Game Boy. Yeah. Yeah, Game Boy. So for me, Game Boy games were I didn't really play as much of them. I didn't play a whole lot of handhelds when I was a kid because handhelds, especially the original Game Boy, required 4 AA batteries.
Yep.
And I didn't have money
Cost
as
money.
a kid, and we always ran out of batteries, and I couldn't get my parents to buy more batteries. So I kind of, if I was lucky, I would ask for some, but a lot of the times they just weren't available. So I kind of left the Game Boy alone. I pretty much was a console gamer. I didn't have a computer, so I never really even to the so when I was in college in the early 2000s, everybody was playing World of Warcraft. Everybody was playing like MMORPGs, EverQuest. You know what I was playing? All the Super Nintendo games on my Z SNES emulator that I never got to play growing up. So I like all the RPGs like Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger. I never played those when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I played those. Everybody was playing MMOs and wasting time, and I was playing awesome games and not wasting time and completing them and being fulfilled and everything. So yeah, and I still to this day haven't played any MMOs.
Me too. I intentionally, I was a dumb college kid, but I was smart enough to know that if I started playing one, it would like consume me. So I just no offense to anyone who plays MMOs.
A lot of people, a lot of people play them.
I've never engaged in one.
Yeah, I just never saw the appeal. Even to this day, I just don't see the appeal of playing. I mean, I guess a lot of people. I mean, I guess it's people's way of hanging out without hanging out.
Yeah, it's a social thing. It's I was actually chatting. I went back and forth with someone on X about it. That it was a very social, like it was a social group. It was an online social group. It was social media, but with a game, and they actually said like it's probably for the best that you didn't get into it because after a while people stop playing the game. You like lose friends, and that can be hard. So
yeah. So, I mean, I grew up with. I mean, when it came to being a fan of of the things that I liked growing up, I was generally alone in that area. So I was always a single player type of person.
Yeah.
If I was lucky, I would probably go somewhere and someone would have the consoles and we would play like 2 players. So like NBA Jam or I mean, everybody talked about Mortal Kombat. I was one of those kids that was opposed to violence and blood and all that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was lame.
My parents would let me have it. I was a Street Fighter guy. My parents, nope, no Mortal Kombat.
No Mortal Kombat. Yeah, finish him.
I still like the N64 controller though. Lots of buttons, but
yeah, that so okay. I have to ask you, how did you? So I think I was watching a commercial. I don't know if it was a Mario 64 commercial. Oh, can you hear me?
Let's see.
Jack, can you hear me?
I didn't touch anything. I don't know what happened.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh. Maybe my audio.
Okay.
You still hear me? That's good.
Can you hear me?
Oh, the speaker just switched for some reason.
You never cut out for us.
You say something?
I've had some. No. I've heard things. I heard similar stuff. So maybe maybe leave the studio and come back in. Here, I'll private chat. Wait.
Oh, technology. Why did I decide to work with technology?
I heard that. Okay, let me I'm gonna remove you. Um, can you hear me? You can't hear me.
I just put a test on. Is it? Can I? Am I gone now? Ugh.
No, you're not gone.
Hmm.
Can you read the? Yeah, he can't hear me.
Camera audio.
Sorry about this, everybody.
No.
Let's. All right, he cut out. He's gonna come back in. He's got the he's got the link. So, but yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see. Hey,
I still
can you hear
can't
me?
hear you.
You still can't hear me. No.
Microphone. Oh, I'm hearing something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was weird.
All right.
Sorry about that.
All right. All
Don't
right.
know what happened.
Yeah. So J.Bongo is a big stupid doo-doo head. Oh, you heard that? Okay. All right. A big.
It's my first live stream. Okay, it's my first. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I've been through worse. There were I have massive ADHD. Like
Uh-huh.
doing these streams helps me like develop better listening skills at the same time.
Mhm.
I'm an old fart. I'm 40. So yeah, but yeah, and I still struggle with a lot of the same stuff that I struggled with as a kid. So video games has kind of helped me pay attention, has helped me
Mhm.
better pay attention to things. Like it's gotten me
Yeah.
like the Zelda games in particular have gotten me has gotten me more interested in reading. It
Mhm.
kind of helped me develop some of my reading skills and
Yeah.
vocabulary because I didn't like to read books. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a kid. Who wants to read books?
Yeah. I remember you mentioned that in your retrospective, and it made me think of how I remember I learned the word equip and what it meant by playing Mario RPG.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
yeah, same here, same
Stuck in
here.
my head.
Oh, I didn't. I like Mario RPG was. I don't know if it was yours, but it was my first ever RPG. Like I
Yeah,
never played
me
an
too.
RPG before that. I'm like,
Yep.
what the? I mean, there's a commercial, and I might have made a Mario RPG retrospective. That so
Yeah.
so I'll tell you the game. So the videos that I chose to do. So I'm not just a video game channel. I cover like movies and I've done book club streams and I've done TV show like retrospectives as well. Big Star Trek guy. I don't know if you could tell from the intro,
Yeah.
So yeah, so the two things that I used to do when I was like, home when I was in 6th and 7th grade, I'd be playing Donkey Kong Country 2 or 3, and then I go into the living room with the VCR. I plop in a classic Star Trek episode from the 60s.
Mhm.
Because as a kid, I thought the look of Star Trek, the colorful look of Star Trek was what drew me in, and I think it's because of all the colorfulness of playing like Mario and Zelda, especially that kind of. I mean, I'm kind of I like to conflate Star Trek with everything that I like, but I used to that and that Nintendo stuff were the two things that I really liked. I even included it in my in my video. I used to I used to get the tapes along with getting the game, so like I could tell you which 2 episodes I got for Christmas with Ocarina of Time.
Oh, nice.
So but like they say in Airplane, that's not important right now.
Yeah.
um but yeah, like I just love the like the look, the art style, the colorfulness of these type of games.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I loved like Ocarina's like color palette and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. What did you think of Echoes of Wisdom? Did you play it?
I played a little bit of it. I DNF'd that one as well. I did 2 streams of it. But honestly, I started a new job, and I was putting more energy into reading books. In this case, I'm reading right now. I'm reading The Wheel of Time. So I've been putting more effort into reading and watching stuff over gaming right now. So
I can understand that. There's only so much time.
but yeah, this is another buddy of mine, Prophet of the Dragon. Me and him have gotten to debates about, he loves Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as well. So, yeah, so that's kind of why I've kind of mellowed out on, like, I'm not going to argue with people about, why they shouldn't like the game and all that. Because there like I said, I love the color palette of Breath of the Wild. I love the art style. I love the gliding mechanic. So I was initially critical of the music, or lack thereof of music, but then I was listening to some of it at work, and it's very peaceful.
Yes.
And it's very minimal. And I had to remember that the Ocarina was minimal as well, was minimalist style as well. So I changed my mind, and I appreciate I appreciate the style that they went through, what they went for, and everything.
Yeah.
So
but
the Echoes of Wisdom, I DNF'd it. I got through like the first dungeon, and I did some exploration, and I kind of stopped. I still have it. I've been DNFing so many games the last couple of years. I can't believe it's been a couple of years since Mario Wonder came out, and like I didn't finish that one either. So, did you get the Switch too, by the way?
I did not. I can't afford it right now.
Oh, you can't. Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, not even because of the price hike. It's just
because you got kids. You got kids. So what does that mean? You got no money.
Exactly. Yeah.
I didn't buy the system, not because I don't have kids. I'm not married. But I'm way behind on like 1 billion Switch games and 1 billion PS4 and PS3 games. Like, I could probably, if they never came out with another video game, I would probably be fine, because there's 3DS games, there's retro games. Like there's games I could play for the rest of my life, new games.
Yeah.
So
I got a big backlog. I did play. So I played through Echoes of Wisdom once, and it's an okay game. They did one thing that I really liked, and then a lot that I didn't like. It's unfortunate. I wish that you, it was nice. Yeah, the dungeons were nice. What I really liked about it was the fact that, okay, so you're playing as Zelda, and Zelda is not Link, so they gave her, you have your echoes. That's your primary method of attack. Okay, something I really, really like in game design is mechanical storytelling. It's when the actions of whatever player character you have, the things that you can do, the mechanics of it reflect what's happening in the story. And so in order for Zelda to actually use a sword, she can't do it herself, so she has to channel Link. And so I thought that was a cool way that Nintendo kind of integrated the two characters. Zelda's not a warrior. She's Sage of Light or Time or whatever. She's
Sage of
magic.
The wisdom. She's got the Triforce of Wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. She would not be able to beat Link in a sword fight, just like Link wouldn't be able to beat her in a magic fight or whatever you want. They're two different characters. That's my point.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they kept it that way. The whole game, at the end of the game, spoilers for anyone, at the end of the game, you rescue Link, and then there's the final dungeon. You're separated, so you can't use that sword fighting mechanic anymore. Link is controlled by an NPC, and you have to navigate some puzzles with that NPC, and you using your echoes to kind of get him where he needs to go. The whole game should have been that. They should have completely taken out the sword mechanic, because once you got it, that's all I used. I would enter a fight, cast some echoes, and be like, this is boring. And then I drink one of their shake things and get more power and kill everything. And I'm pretty sure most of the bosses not all of them. There are some you need to do an echo, but then you switch to Link and you kill it. Most of them are that way. And game mechanics should complement one another, not detract from one another. And
I
that was
agree.
the biggest flaw of the game. Was once echoes were for navigation, the sword was for combat.
Yeah.
And when they push the echoes so much that it's like, also like at one point it's like I only use clouds and I just jump around, like that's it. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, it's a shame because they were trying to do something new. The story was meh. Link was relegated to basically Zelda's co-worker. The final scene was between was between Zelda and Tree, not the destined hero that is
Mhm.
supposed to partner with her to defeat evil. There's
Yeah.
just a lot wrong with it from so many different standpoints. I mean, it's unfortunate because
Yeah, I
let's play
mean,
a Zelda game.
I mean, I don't know. I can't say if that was the reason, but I don't know. Like I guess I think I maybe subconsciously I wasn't interested in the mechanic. I played a
Yeah,
little bit of it.
yep.
I played 2 streams of it, and like you said, like the first, I think the first dungeon, I think I just kept using Link, or I
Yeah.
kept using Link's thing to fight the bad guy, and then but then when I tried to use like enemies to fight other enemies, which is the other way to fight, it took forever, and
Yeah.
to wait for the NPCs to fight other NPCs, I was like, it's kind of I don't know, but like I mean that might be it, but I don't know. I'm not writing this. I'm not writing this off. I'm not writing this off. I do intend to
Mhm.
revisit. I do intend to revisit it and complete it, and you
Yeah.
know, like you said, I mean, for my own opinion. I mean, it's just I just haven't had a whole lot of I haven't played a whole lot of gaming in general. So
Yeah.
I still love to talk about, like, especially the older games, the retro games that have helped me navigate through growing up.
Yeah.
Mario RPG was a big one for me because it was a game that helped me escape. Um, it's helped me get over a hard school year and
Yeah.
everything. So it's just I wasn't doing good in school. The kids in my class were no longer friendly to me, and there was a whole bunch of things. There was issues going on at home. I had a 3-year-old brother and all that, and there was a lot of stress going on.
Yeah.
And me playing Mario RPG, I think that was the first time I've ever stayed up for a game. And I think I might have mentioned this in my video. I actually pulled like an all-nighter playing that game. Like, I got so into it.
Yeah.
It got me so I just got, it was like, how people are addicted to like Pokemon. Well, that was
Yeah.
like my Pokemon. And this was
Mhm.
like, I think this came out around the same time Pokemon came out in Japan. I think it was
Yeah.
96 or something.
I think
So,
so. Yeah.
um, but yeah, it just gave me new appreciation for Mario. I loved the whole idea of Bowser being your ally, because
Yeah.
there was
Yeah. That's so
like you
cool.
say, like he says in the game, there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
In this case, Smithy. So
Yep.
I always thought, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like there's an even bigger enemy out there
Yeah.
that took over Bowser's castle. So
Yeah.
um
Well, that idea of escapism too. Escapism gets a bad rap. Um, I don't think escapism is bad in and of itself. I remember reading there's an essay. It's called On Fairy Stories, and it's by Tolkien. It's a really long essay. It's more of a book, but in it he talks about fantasy and uh, the problem with escapism. Like this, Tolkien was a Christian and showed a Christian worldview, and he had this idea that you're not of this world. Why is it wrong for someone who's in prison, like this reality that we find ourselves, to long for something more?
yeah,
Um,
no, yeah, I know exactly where you're going. His
yeah,
son in an interview talks about that
yeah,
nature, about if you're a prisoner, what's wrong with escapism? It's
yeah,
noble. It's a noble thing to do, is
yeah,
to
exactly.
escape.
Yeah, his big issue with it, though, and I do think this is 100% correct, is the problem with escapism is not that it's when you like avoid duty. Like you have duties, you
Yeah,
have things you need to do, and if you use
responsibility.
escapism, responsibility. That's the big problem.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, but I totally get that. Like,
hey, Tolkien. The reason Ocarina is the reason why I got interested in the hero's journey and fantasy in the first place.
yeah,
And so, like, this was '98. I was 14, perfect age to discover, the hero's journey and all that.
yeah,
And I think when I was in high school, and I also went to church. I went to Orthodox church. They were big Lord of the Rings people, and they got. I mean, no one in my family was into what read fiction or fantasy or anything. It was actually people in my church that introduced us to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and all that. And I read those because of, well, my time playing Zelda and that type of story, and of course going to church, and then of course the movies were about to come out too. That was another big thing. Everybody was talking about the movies.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to read the books before the movies came out. I'll be honest, it was a difficult read for me at first because like I said, I wasn't much of a reader before before reading.
Oh,
I'm
man.
attempting to
You
take
jumped
on
into
Tolkien. Yeah. So and this was before, like, I didn't have a phone, I didn't have a Kindle. So, like, one thing I love about reading from my phone or my Kindle is that if there's a word I don't know, I can just highlight the word,
Yeah.
and then the Oxford Dictionary will pop up, and I'll get the definition like right away. I hated having to have a dictionary on hand and take the time to look up a word.
Yeah.
And then like several minutes later, then I go back to reading. I'm like, oh, where was I at again? What's going on? And it just killed the momentum. That's why I didn't like to read. But that's how it was when I was initially reading Tolkien. I was like, what does this mean? What does that mean? But I got through it. And, maybe it's because I watched the animated films, and then, and I really, that might have helped a little bit. And then I read them, and I finally finished them. But yeah. But yeah, it got but I attribute, Nintendo and Zelda to getting me interested in fantasy. I mean, like I said, I'm reading Wheel of Time right now. So
yeah, and I totally agree. I think that's one of the reasons I love Ocarina of Time. To bring it back to that, is I played it at the right point in my development. I love Star Wars, and the hero's journey, I do think, is one of those. I think it's an innate thing that humans respond to for whatever reason. And you can take that as far as you want to go with philosophy and theology and stuff like that. But I do think that there's a reason why, like, tropes are tropes for a reason.
Yeah,
they work.
I mean, they're time. I mean, they're considered timeless. They've withstood thousands of years. So it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna change anytime soon.
Yeah, and I do think another trope that can be used in a good or bad way is that I do think people, particularly men, respond to, is the damsel in distress trope. I think that one can be a bit tricky because I do think there's a right way, a neutral way, and a completely wrong way to implement that trope. But like Ocarina of Time has the damsel in distress trope, but at the same time, Zelda is very clearly her own character, has her own, part to play. And for me, one key thing that must be in every Zelda game where Link and Zelda are prominent characters is that both of them must take part in the final battle in some way, to the point where if it's just one of them there, they're both like, they can't do it.
Yeah, and I think that started with Ocarina.
Ocarina of Time. It did, yeah.
Because in the first game, she was just simply kidnapped.
She was a damsel in distress.
She was a damsel in distress, but she did something. She kept the enemy. She kept the bad guy, the evil Lord Ganon, from getting the Triforce of Wisdom. So so she's the one that put them all in the dungeons and had the guardians of those dungeons, guard them until a hero came and was able to overcome those guardians, basically. Same with Zelda 2. Zelda 2, though, it was a different Zelda.
Yeah,
they took
Zeldas at the same time.
It was a different Zelda, but this was a Zelda that was from like hundreds of years ago, and
Yeah, it
she
was
was
asleep for
sleeping,
hundreds of years.
and a secret door opens in the castle, and we find and then Zelda 2 is the first time Link has the Triforce on his hand
Yeah.
and all that. So
Yeah.
it appears, a door opens, and then there's the sleeping Zelda, and then the whole game is about him awakening the sleeping Zelda and everything.
Yeah.
So and Link to the Past, she it was the one where she uses telepathy. And
Yes.
so the game opens with her using telepathy while he's sleeping, while he's dreaming, or he's hearing her as he's sleeping, which is weird. But it was that was an eerie beginning too. Like Ocarina had a weird beginning with the dream sequence.
Right.
That the beginning of A Link to the Past was a little bit weird too.
Yeah.
But one thing I liked about Link to the Past and Ocarina as they open was they set the stakes up like right away. Like the Deku Tree is dying in Ocarina, and time is running out. Link has to help him, and then in Link to the Past, you find out that that the maidens are being taken away one by one, and they're being put on an altar to be sacrificed, and they vanish. And then the last thing that says before it goes back to the credits is that the time of Princess Zelda's fate is drawing near. It's like, we gotta get in there, we gotta play, we gotta save her. So then that's where the damsel, that's where me as the young man wants to save the princess. And I was surprised. Like, I thought there was going to be more things to do before you rescue the princess. I was surprised that you rescue the princess in the very beginning of A Link to the Past. And then she follows you.
Yeah.
And then she follows you through the castle. And then, you go through the sewers and the rats. So I played Zelda 3 or Link to the Past so many times. Like, I could count, I think there was 2 or 3 rats in the sewers that will give you the red rupee, which is 20 rupees.
Yeah.
So I always made sure to always, slay all the rats as much as I could, because they were the ones that gave you, they gave you the money. Because the snakes don't give you crap. They just give you a green rupee and some hearts. Who wants hearts?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's not true.
If you get hit.
And the bats don't give you crap. Those keys or the Link to the Past version of keys,
those games, for one thing, that even in the original ones, the first couple Zeldas, like where Zelda doesn't really do much, it's like the trope itself is basically the damsel has inherent value, because that's it. It's like it's worth saving this person, not because of a good negative example of someone like using the damsel in distress is like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Like, he wants the Belle as his prize, not because he actually loves her. And in Zelda 1, I think in the book, it explicitly says Link's motivation is strong sense of justice.
Yeah,
that's his motivation for.
Well, yeah, because if I remember correctly, he sets off on this journey according to the lore because he rescues Impa.
Yes, he rescues Impa,
and Impa tells him of Zelda's situation. He's like, okay, and his strong sense of justice, gives him purpose to go and for us to play the game, basically.
Right. And the trope itself relies entirely on the motivation of the hero. Like, what is the reason they have for saving this damsel? Is it love? Is it they want her as a prize, a trophy wife, or do they have a strong sense of justice? Like, I mean, it all depends. It's not, in and of itself, it's not bad, but in
a Link to the Past, what happens is the uncle. So Link is saying with his uncle, the uncle goes out and says, "Don't leave." He's like, he's like, something has happened. I have to go. Don't leave. And if I remember correctly, the uncle, I think maybe I think the uncle heard the same telepathy that Link heard or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe she spoke to
lineage.
Yeah, maybe she spoke to him too. I don't know. But he goes out, and then you follow him. You fall into the sewer, and he's wounded on the ground. And so I always assumed that his character died. Like, his character died, and then he was revived. At the end of the game, it says your uncle recovers and all that. But I always assumed he died. I mean, I didn't understand it at first, but like when I played it later, he died. Like you can't talk to him. Like he's just sitting there, laying there. So I assumed he died, and then his body was gone later in the game. Like when you go back down to that pit, it's gone. So so I always assumed he did that. He rescued Zelda to kind of finish the business that his uncle, couldn't do. So he had that strong emotional reason to do it. And of course, he, with Zelda being with him all that time, kind of started building a bond with her and a sense of responsibility for her. He knew she was in danger. So I'll say this: when you get all three pendants, beat the three dungeons in the light world, and you get the Master Sword, you leave the Sacred Meadow, and all of a sudden you hear telepathy. It's like, Link, hurry! The soldiers are coming to the sanctuary. And I was just like, I was using the Pegasus boots like crazy. Like I was colliding into everything when I first, like that just came out of nowhere. Like I was expecting, it's just gonna be, I'm gonna get the sword, and then I'm gonna go to Aghanim, and I was like, where do I go? Oh, Aghanim, that central tower that's being blocked by this like band of electricity or something. Well, you can destroy it now. But hey, they made the stakes higher. This time Zelda gets abducted, and they kill the sage. They kill the sage that was the
guy who was watching her.
The priest.
It's because they got you to care about Zelda in the very few short scenes that she had. That's good. I mean, kids kind of fill in the blanks. It's like in Ocarina of Time when you meet Saria. She's clearly your friend, and like your kid mind.
Oh my gosh,
fills in the blanks, and then Link like abandons her, and you're just like, I was really sad as a child when I saw that.
It's awkward. I remember that bridge scene. You're talking about the bridge scene when you're first leaving. Holy crap! Yeah, he's just like, here's this. She's like, you're leaving. You're leaving, aren't you? And of course, because Link is silent protagonist, because he's us. He links the player to Hyrule. She's like, don't ever forget us. And so like for me, that's a very emotional thing. It's like, don't ever forget this. Here's this fairy ocarina. This will, please use this to your advantage, and think of me when you do. And he gets it, and then and then she looks at him, he looks at her, and then because he's like a little, I don't know if he's at pre-adolescent, but he's like, it gets a little awkward, and he's like, step, and then he runs away. And then she just looks sad as the scene goes down. It was a very emotional. I mean, that was an emotional moment, and of course the one right before that, like the Deku tree was basically Obi-Wan. Was basically Obi-Wan in Star Wars. Like the Deku tree was the mentor, the one that took care of Link. And when the Deku tree dies, Link is kind of on his own. He has his mission, he has his purpose, but he's on his own. He doesn't have anybody, so he has to seek out other people to kind of look to, and to kind of go forward. And that, of course, that's Zelda basically. And Impa and all the other characters that he meets throughout the game, and like all the sages, he had like, I loved the unique relationships that he had with them. I like the new races in Ocarina.
Yeah, definitely.
And like later in the game, when you get to the second part and you're an adult now, and the world has changed like drastically, like Final Fantasy VI like level, like post-apocalyptic, like you see a fiery halo above Death Mountain. That was the first thing you see that's the first thing you see when you walk out of the Temple of Time. And you're like, what the heck is going on here? Like, where is everybody? Castle Town is completely destroyed. Hyrule Castle is completely gone. Now you have this floating creepy castle. It's Ganon's tower, and then you get back to the forest, and you're looking for, where's Saria? Where's everybody? What happened to everybody during all this time? And you get to the Sacred Meadow, and you get to the stoop, or the tree stump that Saria that initially sat on, and she's gone. And you're like, is she dead? What's going on? Where is she? And it was just the game knew how to get me to want to keep playing.
Yes.
because I had this really strong investment in the characters that you
Yep.
played with. It was so powerful. It was,
Yeah.
and I don't think any other game. I mean, Wind Waker. I think the only thing close that got close to it was Wind Waker, and I loved Ganon's arc in the Ganondorf's arc in
Oh,
Wind
yeah,
Waker.
yeah. Yep.
But that was like that was the next close thing that in terms of like that emotional
Yeah.
connection I had with it. So sorry,
Yeah.
I had just going on
No,
about
no.
it. Yeah,
I mean, in Ocarina of Time, the again, each sage has like you meet Darunia, you have interactions with him, you meet Ruto, interactions with her,
Ruto.
Faria,
Yeah, she's
interactions with her.
my husband. She
Yeah,
treats you. She's nagging at you, and
yeah.
yeah,
And those seem like very small. They are very small and short scenes, but the impact is later on when the world goes to crap and it's 7 years later. It's you start like, oh, I actually care about these characters. The only one who I felt like fell flat on that was Impa. Like you meet Impa once, but I was thinking about it as you were talking actually,
yeah,
and I think the reason for that is because in the water temple um you come across Ruto. In the fire temple you come across Darunia. In the spirit temple you come across Naburu.
yeah.
But in the forest temple, which is one of the scarier temples, Saria's not there. And then especially in the shadow temple, which was my least favorite temple as a kid, but now is my favorite. I think it's the way it's designed. It's like backwards. Like you get the treasure like first, and then you complete the rest of the temple. And
Yeah, like yeah, the hover. If I yeah, it's the
yeah,
hover boots you get like right
yeah.
away. Yeah, you're right.
But the idea that I'm getting at though is because you don't know much about Impa in all the other in the temples where you encounter the sages again, you have this feeling of like, oh, someone's in here with me.
Yeah,
That's a friend. But in the Shadow Temple, you don't. And like that temple scared the crap out of me as a kid, and the bottom of the well. And I think that was their attempt at like uh almost going into horror, because like the Shadow Temple has some pretty like grim imagery, like especially the earlier versions of the game. There's blood, there's torture racks, there's
yeah.
the implication that the Sheikah were not just assassins but tortured people, which has never been revisited in the series at all. Which I think they should go.
Tortured people. What do you
Yeah, I
mean?
mean it was
Like
a Sheikah shrine.
like victims or like inquisitors. Like they inflicted
I
us.
think I'm pretty sure it's implied that they were the assassins of the royal family, and that this was a
They did all the
Sheikah.
dirt. They did all the dirty work. Yeah,
They did the dirty work,
yeah. They were the
which is probably
shadow.
probably why they were wiped out eventually. But it was that level that pushed Ocarina of Time, I would say, closer to a T rating. And in horror games, I love the Resident Evil series. In any horror, and if it's a horror movie, horror game, you have to have a sense of isolation. You have to you
Yes.
you can't have the player feeling like there's some comfort from anywhere. And I think that they tried to do that by not having Impa interact with Link as an adult until she's a sage. But ultimately, I think maybe the game would have been better served if like Impa was the one to fight the creature that came out of the well, and not Sheik, just to show that Impa's there doing stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was, and then when you see Impa again, as a sage, Impa looks just exactly the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like 7 years have passed. So,
Yeah.
And you only see her, like you only really interact with her like when she escorts you out of the castle.
Yes. Yeah. That's
When
right.
you first meet Zelda.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much it. Like you don't really like Sheik's like, oh, please save Impa. And then I started to have suspicions about the identity of Sheik. Like, who is this? Who is this Sheik? But I don't know. How long did it take you to figure out that Sheik was, spoiler alert, Zelda?
Yeah. I think it was spoiled for me, but and because I don't remember having a moment where I was like, "Oh my god, it's Zelda!" Like I think my friend just
This
was
is,
like,
this is
"Oh,
just
that's chic.
blurted out.
It's
Yeah.
Zelda." I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay." And I was too young to like. I hate spoilers now. I think spoilers are a crime against humanity. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll tell you. I've told other people this, and they don't believe me, but spoilers don't bother me nearly as much. I've watched enough Japanese shows and anime, like to the point where like if a character, like if an important character dies, it's usually like the title of the episode is "This character dies," and then
yeah,
they'll have some poetic thing, and it's all about what leads up to the death, like how did they die, like
right,
do they die, in vain, do they die villain, or do they die doing something noble and heroic that will be remembered forever. And so it's usually always the latter, obviously, especially with
yes,
a good guy, an ally, and something that's
yeah,
supposed to make the viewer feel something. So so yeah, so like it's all about like what it's all about for me. It's all about the journey. Like Wrath of Khan, I knew the certain pointy or character dies at the end of that movie, spoiler alert, but I still watched it and I still enjoy it. But yeah, I
yeah,
guess it's different for everybody, especially if you watch something long form and you're waiting for a payoff. I get it. So yeah.
yeah. I mean, like if you were to play like Bioshock and have it spoiled for you with Bioshock 1 or 3, then I would say probably not really worth playing.
Those are the only. I didn't play
They're
two.
fun.
I only played 1 and 3. I only played 1 and 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
me
played
too. I only played
Infinite,
one and
and
three.
I'm
They
I'm I'm,
they
cur- I'm curious if they'll ever come out with another one.
it's in the works. I don't think they're ever gonna top 3 that big twist, but
Well, yeah, because that studio, Ken Levine's studio closed down. He's doing other stuff. So
yep,
2K owns the property. They're going to probably try and replicate it, but they don't have Ken Levine. So
yeah,
they're
yep,
it's like doing Metal Gear Solid without Kojima.
yes,
Like,
which they will try to do at some point, and
I
it will
mean,
not work.
they're remaking 3. I love 3. They're remaking 3, but I think that's all they can do. It's just
Yeah,
take a game and polish it up, make it look better, maybe give it some new technology or something. But yeah, um,
yep. No, but
but yeah, Resident Evil. I'll tell you about, like, I didn't play Resident Evil growing up because I
uh-huh.
thought Resident Evil was just some trashy, gratuitous, bloody, shoot 'em game. And I was watching. I met a friend in college, and I was watching him play Resident Evil 4. And I was like, "This is not what I thought Resident Evil was." He's like, "No, this is basically a Zelda, but with horror,
Yeah. Well,
and jump scares." And then I played the
depending.
first game, and it's basically the entire game is a dungeon. You have to go look for keys, and you have to
Yep.
figure out how to progress. And I was
Yep.
like, "Holy crap!" I actually really enjoying this, and I started liking horror, and I I like I love the Resident Evil games too. I
Yeah.
still haven't played the remake of 4 yet, though. I've been really behind
I
on it.
know.
Well,
Me too.
gaming in general. So
Yeah. Yeah. I
I haven't played
powered
8
through
either.
8. 8. If you liked 4, you'll like 8.
Okay,
8 is really unique. Has some like
Village,
yeah. It has some like awesome gameplay. Some of the best characters. Some of the worst characters.
like the tall woman.
Yeah, Lady Dimitrescu
I saw someone playing like the scariest part of the game where there's like this baby
yes,
that chases you, and
that
it's terrifying.
yes
I
that
saw people stream it and scream
yeah,
at how scared it
that part
was.
came out of left field, and I was not ready for it too. It was one it it's one of the best parts of the game the first time you play, but every subsequent playthrough you're like, oh, I got to do this part again. But the first time you play it, it's like I'll never forget it because it was just came out of nowhere, and it took me out of the action oriented Resident Evil and put me back in the survival horror
Do you
Resident Evil.
prefer the survival horror, the fixed camera angles, or do
Um,
you like the more over the shoulder?
I appreciate both. I get kind of like our discussion on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I can understand when people say Resident Evil 7 and 8 are not Resident Evil games, or they go further and they say Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 are not Resident Evil games because the mechanics changed so drastically that at least in 4, 5, and 6 you have the same characters that continue the same story. In 7 and 8 it's like a completely different protagonist who I kind of liked. Ethan. He was like a normal dude. He wasn't Leon Kennedy shouting quips and like doing backflips. Dude. It's like, I'm normal guy in weird situation, and he acts like it.
or you forget Chris Redfield in 5 in a volcano punching a boulder.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I think that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest.
Yes, that is the most. That is like the pinnacle of
yes.
the cheesiness that came out of the 4, 5, and 6 action group.
One thing I've noticed: do games still do the whole QuickTime event? Because I remember 5 was 4 and 5 were nuts about.
Yeah,
QuickTime
that was the
events.
height of the QuickTime event. Like
is it not a thing anymore? Because I haven't noticed them in games as much nowadays.
There's a little bit of it in 8, a little bit
in 8. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not like a
7's Biohazard 7 scared the crap out of me. Like there were times where I was too afraid to leave the room, especially with Mr. Baker going all Jack Torrance on you, trying to beat the crap, like chasing you in the house and trying to beat the crap out of you with his thing.
That game, while I would understand if people say it's not a good Resident Evil game, I will say that game is definitely in my top 10. I was terrified playing it in the dark on my Steam Deck.
You played it in the dark? Are you nuts? Like I don't think I would. I don't think I would do that.
My time to play. I live in a small house, and my time to play is between the hours of 4 and 6. And
in the morning or in the afternoon?
In the morning.
Holy crap.
So the sun's not even up yet, and my kids are asleep. I can't put on the big TV. Turning on the lights, if there's a crack in the door, might wake up the kids. So I play in the dark. I can come in here, but the couch is in there. It's comfortable. So I did play it in the dark. That's an incredible game. It's definitely something like I recommend everybody play it. You have to, obviously it's a bit of a body horror, like quite grotesque at times if you can stomach it. But it was like it masterfully did the survival horror scary. Like the grandma, like you turn a corner and there's the grandma, and she doesn't do anything, and she never does anything, but you definitely don't want to turn your back to her.
Okay.
Even though she doesn't do anything, even if you turn your back to her, like the whole time I'm playing the game, I'm like, she never does anything, and here I am, like 10 hours into it, and there she is. She's never attacked me once, but I'm still like, I have my back to the wall, and I'm like facing her, and her head is like slowly turning to look at you.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's you think at some point, like I think a lesser like storytelling author would at some point make her pop out and grab you, but I love the fact that she never does anything. It's just there, and it's creepy.
I don't think I remember that character, to be honest, now that I think about it.
She shows up in that like infamous scene where the family's introduced to you and you're like strapped in a chair.
Yeah.
You look over and she's there. And then throughout the game, she just appears in random places. Like you open a door and there she is. And she's just sitting in a rocking chair. And you don't know how she's moving around.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe I do remember. Okay. Now that I think of it. All right. Now, okay. Yeah. You know what's funny is I still haven't played, like apparently there was DLC where you take out the brother. I was surprised like you didn't fight the brother at all. Like Jigsaw. I mean, he was basically Jigsaw. Like setting, booby traps, Saw style booby traps and all that. Bro.
Apparently each one of the Bakers was supposed to represent like a horror genre. Like
so obviously, Mr. Baker was, the slasher / Jack Torrance / brutal killer. The mom was like she had insects. She was like Candyman or
Slender Man,
or she was like Slender, more supernatural.
Very creepy. That was the creepiest one, I think, and also the hardest. Jack was such an awesome villain.
Yeah.
Definitely in my top 10
How many
villains.
times that you fight him and you
3
I
times.
think you have to knock like a punching bag at him if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
and then you have to hit him with like the chainsaw. It was just crazy, and he's still not dead. And you fight like a mutated version of him
mutated.
after you get through the brothers booby traps, his saw booby traps and all that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
that
you
game is nuts.
Yeah, I forget. Like, there was another character that was responsible for all this, and you fight her, and she's the bad guy of the whole
Yes,
game or
yeah.
something. I forgot. I
Yeah.
completely forgot about that. I only played that. That's another game I only played once. But I can't believe how long ago that came out now. So,
Yeah.
but initially going into the house,
Yeah,
was
the guest house.
creepy. Like I didn't want. I like in the beginning of the game when you're Ethan, you're looking for what's your wife, and you're going into the house. You're initially going in the house like I don't want to go in here. It's like
Yeah.
it's like watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yes.
and then
Yep.
going in the house. You're like, don't go in there, bro. Don't
Yep.
go in there. So.
But to bring it back to Zelda, when I think of the Shadow Temple, it's like they tried to do all the things that would
Yeah.
make a horror game. They even down to the music. Like if you can find like music analysis for Ocarina of Time online on YouTube. And I remember watching this one video that analyzed the music, and there's just so much. It's called harmonic dissonance. It's
Yeah.
sounds that intentionally stress you out, and so
it sounds like the voices when you're in the Shadow Temple. It sounds like voices of the dead are trying to speak to you or crying out to you.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that died, probably like you said in the lore, violent deaths. I mean, and this is all from based on the imagery, the image, the environment is telling a story.
Yeah. In the first, yeah, exactly. There's environmental storytelling in the dungeon. There's a dark color palette. Like they couldn't really do darkness very well.
Very purple. It was a very purple gray colored environment. So that just felt unnatural.
Yeah.
Going so like compared to the rich color palettes of the other dungeons and everything.
In the bottom of the well, there's like a torture rack. There's like two posts that are like this and with chains, and then in the very original versions of the game there was like red blood stains beneath it. It's like they removed those in the later versions.
Apparently Ganon was also coughing up red blood when you first defeat him, and then they changed it to green because I guess they really wanted that E rating.
Yeah, in my playthrough I made sure to you have the option to change it back to red blood.
Really?
But then there's like the nightmare fuel that is that hand boss.
It just grabs your like it just you're walking towards and it just grabs your face like whoa, and then there's like all these other hands like all around you.
Yep.
And then the boss comes out and he's just like then he just tries to bite you and you're like. And you can't reach, like you have to only hit his head. You can't hurt him otherwise.
Yeah.
And so he has to be down like, and then that's how you hit him. But then when he'll retreat, he'll stand up straight. And you can't hurt him, and then go back in the ground. And you have to let the hand grab you so that to lure him back up to attack you again. And everything. So that's scary. That was scary.
Yeah, I had as a kid I had the bottom of the well, like the quickest path in and out memorized because I hated being in there.
That was one thing I kind of wish they did a better job of. Like if you know exactly, I mean, if you first play it and then you're exploring, that's fine. But if you know where everything is, you can just go grab the key, get the key that you need. Get the lens of truth and then get out of there. You don't really need to explore the rest of it unless you want to get all the gold skulltulas, or if you want, or if you're a crazy completionist and you want to get every single treasure chest in there. Yeah, there was a point where I was in that stage. I wanted to get every get the map, you get the compass, and then the compass. One thing I liked about the use of the compass in this game, I don't know if they did that in A Link to the Past, but I think starting in Ocarina, the compass was not just used to determine where the boss was, but also where treasure chests were.
Yeah.
and where they were in the room. So there were times where like, oh, there's a treasure chest here, but I don't see it. Where is it? Well, it's either you have to bomb something to expose it, or maybe it's hanging from a wall and you have to knock it down, or you have to beat every boss in the room for it to appear or something, or you maybe have to hit a switch or use the lens of truth. Yeah, that's even better one.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I said that, Nerdy Neo. Yeah,
there's some games I do that. Some games I go crazy completionist. I might do it with Ragebound, depending on how hard it is, and I have to have the time. I did it with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Is that game stage based or is that a Metroidvania?
It's stage based.
Oh, okay.
And then you get
I was wondering if it was going to be anything like The Messenger. If you've ever played The Messenger.
No, I played Hollow Knight.
Okay. But if you ever played if you play The Messenger is basically Ninja Gaiden, but with a lot of self-aware humor, and a lot and it starts off like a Ninja Gaiden game, like it starts off stage based, but then it becomes a Metroidvania.
Oh, cool!
And starts off, and it's even funnier. It starts off like an 8-bit game, and then it becomes a 16-bit game. And you can switch between the 16-bit universe and the 8-bit universe. It's crazy. So the game is so self-aware, so funny. It's great.
I'll have to look it up.
There's time travel involved. It's
yeah. Did you the game I did go crazy completionist on? Like I got everything in Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and then when Donkey Kong 64 came out, I made sure to get everything in that game. I absolutely loved it. I know some people hate or they think it's too much in Donkey Kong 64, but I loved it as a kid.
I don't know if it was the original N64 games, but I played like the Wii U Virtual Console versions of Banjo-Tooie and Donkey Kong 64, and there were a couple of like mini games. Like in this case, I think in Banjo-Tooie's case, you were flying around and you had to get a certain amount of, you had to score a certain amount of stuff. I don't remember what it was. And I could never get enough to get that final puzzle. That was the one puzzle piece I couldn't get. And then Donkey Kong 64, there was a mini game where you had to race and collect coins against a bug.
Yes. Yep.
And I think I beat it on N64, but like the Wii U version was impossible to beat. So that was the one.
The Wii U version,
that was the one golden banana I couldn't get. That was the one golden banana I couldn't get. I got all the other ones.
The hardest one for me actually was the one where you had to play the arcade version of Donkey Kong and beat it.
So Nerdy Neo's another old guy. He plays a lot of games. He's married, like he's got kids. And he's giving me crap as the single guy who doesn't play enough games. So, but he's asking if you have a channel. So that we have like a little group of friends so that we all talk about like, gaming and all that. Well, I'm kind of part of it. I mean, I don't play enough of it to really engage, but like Nerdy Neo has a whole bunch of friends that he talks to that they do like challenges and
okay.
Yeah.
Is it a Discord channel?
Yeah, he has a Discord channel. He's asking if you have a YouTube channel.
Oh, yes, I do. I just posted my first like video where I actually speak today. I'm gonna hope to do more of those, but I'm mostly using it as like this is my clip library because X doesn't really save things very well. But yeah, I have it. I can put it. Oh yeah, that's my X account. My YouTube account is where is it? I have a YouTube and I have a Rumble, and they both pretty much have the same. Well, not right now, but they will have the same content.
So you better block this guy. He's gonna be following my example. He's gonna be asking, hey, can you join me? Can you join us for some video game discussion? So I've had Nerdy Neo on. He's a good guy. He hates Mario though, so I don't know if you should take him too seriously. But he does love Zelda. He loves Metroid, and he especially loves Metroidvanias. So
Yeah, I'm also have a big heart for Metroid. That's another
Like
whole
the
other thing
only
I could talk about.
like the only reason why I'm even like, I mean, I Donkey Kong and Metroid are probably my two favorites right now. Zelda kind of, because of, you know, the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, have kind of fallen off a little bit for me in terms of future games. We'll see though, that might change. But like Metroid Prime 4, I wasn't like, when that first got announced, like I was at work and I wanted to, like, you know how like people like to obnoxiously scream and when they're reacting to like crazy announcements like Mario RPG getting a remake and all that.
Yeah.
I act the Prime that Prime 4 announcement. I had to run out of my office and like scream outside like that.
Yeah.
That's just how overwhelmed I was. And that's the only time that's ever happened, because that, like, I did not expect that to happen. Like, it was just something I wished for. It was something I wished for, but
I was waiting for that one for a long time too. Metroid Prime, Metroid, Super Metroid, Zero Mission, Fusion, Metroid 2, the original there. I love those games. I'm actually, I'm, yes, thank you. The so YouTube channel again, more commenting stuff is going to be going up, but for right now, there's just a lot of gameplay footage up there, and I do post. I have these like short game design and game philosophy posts I put up on X. Those are all in the shorts as well, but those go up every now and then. I just don't care for more about Metroidvania.
I wanted to read one of them. I'm looking. I'm on your account, X account right now, trying to find one of them. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have Mega Man X fighting Vile in this one.
Yes.
And so it says 100 video game design tips and tricks, tips and tricks, not trips. Number 2, tell the player what to do, but not how to do it. Player freedom and choice is essential to creating meaningful play. While there might be an optimally designed way to complete a certain objective or kill a boss, there should be multiple ways to achieve said objective based on the player's preferred playstyle. Even less complex games should offer choice in how the player chooses to engage with the levels. So basically what you said, you know, earlier about about the importance of choice.
Yeah, it's like my choice is like taking away choice in the clip that I posted would be like, you have to defeat Vile using his weakness. But I don't have to. I can use the Buster. Thanks, Deltroid. I appreciate that. This book I'm reading, Rules of Play. Oh my. Yeah.
Let me write this down. Let me write this down. I got my
another user on X I've been in contact with Manicaster. He's developing a card game. He has some really interesting ideas about difficulty. He commented on this, how he didn't like this book because he felt it was too highbrow, whereas the other book, 100 Tips and Tricks for Game Design, that's more like concrete, do this for your game. This one's way more about the philosophy of game design and games in general. And they have the concept of like meaningful play goes way back to what we talked about. Like, you want players having agency and choice brings about meaningful play. And so it's like in Candyland, there's no choice. You pick up a card, you go to space. That's it. Shoots and ladders. You roll the dice, you go. Okay, it's a game.
Connect 4.
Well, Connect 4. I mean, you have some choice in the matter, but meaningful play is the thing to shoot for, and it all has to do with you want to try to evoke that escapism that we were talking about, and to get into something called the flow state. Okay, now the flow state is that like channel has right in between like too hard and too easy, or like the challenge and the skill of the player, and you want the player to be like right in that sweet spot in the middle, so that they don't. It's like when you look at someone, it's like the typical couch potato, the stereotypical kid on the couch just zoned out, just playing the game like that. So that looks like a couch potato, but in reality, when a kid is in that state, they are actually have the highest retention capacity. So I was a teacher for 11 years, and I'm a master's in uh, educational technology and gamification, because gamification was like a big buzzword. You want to turn your classroom into a game, because kids learn best when they're playing or when they're in that state of flow. So if you can
making it fun, making it,
yes,
giving an incentive, giving a
yeah,
fun incentive to learn. So
yeah,
all right,
but
sorry, yeah, keep going.
yeah, not just fun, but engaging. And engaging, you need um, a challenge. There has to be some resistance. Otherwise, it's like I'll admit I have played some gotcha games, but they are not good games. They rely on mechanics that trigger dopamine hits rather to get you to keep coming back, rather than uh,
What exactly
challenge.
is a gotcha game?
A gotcha game is like you sign in every day. It's like the millions of if you go on if you go on your Google Play Store or your App
Yeah,
Store and you search for these games, it's like a million games where there's these tons of anime waifus that you can pay for if you want, or you have to sign in every day and build your team. And it's uh, basically when it's you basically have to sign in every day, and you get rewards, constant rewards, not just like one or two things, but like 20, 30 throughout the day. And the big one that the new trend now is called an AFK game. AFK, like away from keyboard.
yeah,
So it's these games that progress while you're not playing it.
interesting.
And which, and the only way to cash in on what's being played in is that, like, it gets you to think like, oh, I haven't played my game in an hour. I should check it and see how much progress I made playing the game.
Hmm.
Anyway, it's a whole genre where it relies on these gotcha mechanics that are very akin to like stuff you'd see at like a casino. Things that
Okay.
casinos do to get people to keep coming back and back and back, even when you don't want to. And eventually you come to the point where you're playing the game without really wanting to play it. You're just signing in to get the stuff. And there are admittedly there are some that are better than others, and I'm not sliding the developers or the art directors or anything like that, because there are some that actually look really well done and sound really well done, but the mechanics themselves can be, I would say, predatory at best. Um,
So they kind of lure you in, and
yeah, and
they like in the case of like to pay to play or something like that.
yeah, pay to
Okay,
win. Pay to
pay to
win is
win.
one, or like you hit a paywall where like you get to a point where it's kind of like your frustration with Elden Ring. You get to a point where you can't play the game unless you either wait or you pay for more things to
Yeah.
get you to interact with it. And depending on the type of game it is, or how well they're going to lean into that, it can either be less of that or more of that. So that's a gotcha game. That's a that's like not what you want. Um, but in any game design, time gating should be. I agree. Yeah. I mean, the good news is if you have restraint, you can play these games for free. Um, but honestly, they are a waste of time. I'm speaking as someone who's played them before.
Hmm.
So it it's not the rich, rewarding experience that you could get playing Ocarina of Time or a Mario game, you know, or Metroid or Resident Evil. I would say that video games are such a powerful medium for many things in our society, and everyone nowadays plays video games to some extent. That one of the reasons I, feel like I want to contribute to this discussion online is because video games are so influential. Like I don't want games just to be. I want quality games. I want games with good storytelling. I want games with quality art, good mechanics that people can engage with and experience that escapism, and actually have for lack of a better word, a transcendental experience.
And I mean, and like just and like we said earlier, like just a chance to discover stuff, whether it's items or discovering in this case, because of Zelda and Metroid, especially discovering abilities, things that you could do in the game, how you can interact with the environment further in order to get further. And it's like you said, when you're up in the tower high in Breath of the Wild, and you're like you use the little the pointer to, oh, there's a shrine, there's another tower, here's a place of interest, there's another place of interest. You kind of want to go to those places. And that's how it was for me in the beginning. But then it just felt like it got to the point where it was like more of the same. I mean, there were some dungeons, there were some towns, and the world, in my opinion, you probably will disagree with this, I think the world was a little too big.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think the world was a little too big. I think it should have been, because there were times where I'd be playing for like an hour and I didn't discover anything. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I feel like I'm wasting time. And so, but that's just me. And that's kind of why I DNF'd Tears of the Kingdom. But we already got into that. So,
yeah.
But when there was good discovery and when there were things to find, it was worth it. So, like I said, I don't think it's a bad game. I think
No, I understand. Like the discovery aspect too. It's like it gives you a well done video game gives you an opportunity to kind of live out the hero's journey. It gives you to experience it in a new way, and the experiential level, the participatory level of games is quite influential. And I think that's why so many people, like when we play Zelda in our developmental years, or Mario RPG, I can relate strongly to both of those and how they affected me, and got me thinking and impacted me. It sounds, even now, because of the way that I feel like video game discourse is entering into a different level, where it's like when we were kids, it wasn't the cool thing to do, and it was the only thing kids did. No adults were really talking about it, so there really wasn't like film analysis.
If you went to an adult, the adult would be like, They would not. They would like be totally like, no, why do I don't care.
Yeah.
Go tell your dad. Go tell your dad, or go tell you. Or dad would be like, go tell your mom. Tell your mom this or something.
So like film analysis was around for decades, and then literary analysis for 1,000 years before that. And now this new medium, video games, comes in. It's just for kids. And now,
did you know that Roger Ebert rejected video games as art? I'm like, if you're going to reject video games as art, you might as well reject films as art too, because films are made for profit as well as video games and most things. So you might as well. Yeah. So, I mean, I like Siskel and Ebert, but no, I mean, if you think film is art and you think music is art, then video games have a right to be art too. And it's not just because, like, I don't know if you heard that Miyamoto doesn't consider like Nintendo games, Mario games, or anything Nintendo produces art because they they make it for a profit, for the sake of keeping the company. And I'm like, well, I mean, then you might as well like remove 99% of stuff, because
I mean, I guess
most stuff is made for the sake of making money. So
I
Some
mean,
people just
it can
put
be
more
both.
work. Some people put more work and more heart into it than others. So
Yeah. No, I agree. That's unfortunate that he doesn't feel that way. I do like Miyamoto though, at least the public image of him. I have no idea how he is as a boss. I like to
oh,
separate.
I'm sure he's like I'm sure he's ferocious, and I'm sure he's
Oh yeah,
fired a billion people.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure he has.
and he's probably this is probably him. This is probably him when he's firing people.
Yeah, exactly.
No, okay, he doesn't do that, but yeah. Um, same with Reggie. Like, you think Reggie's this, this guy's like, my body is ready, and you know, we're gonna sell these games and all that, and I'm gonna kick ass and take names. No, Reggie was probably like,
He's a
and
CEO.
they even joked about him being the boss, and like him firing, what's his name, Bill Trinan or something,
Mhm.
for making it for I forget what it was, an E3 skit or something, or maybe it was a Nintendo Direct skit. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, they could be funny when they want to be. That's
Yeah,
totally not what I think of Nintendo America, though. They're extremely corporate now.
yeah.
Bowser has taken Nintendo of America into an evil direction with the Switch too.
Yeah, I don't. I like to try to separate in my mind the corporate side of Nintendo and the artistic side of Nintendo.
That's Japan.
Yeah,
Japan is I consider Japan like the artistic side, but they also, I mean,
yeah,
they have a corporate side too. Obviously, I mean,
right.
the original Nintendo. I was talking about. We were talking about Gunpei Yokoi. He's the one that started the whole Nintendo's design philosophy and all that, about using existing technology to
Yeah.
make something new. But the boss, the one that ran Nintendo and was responsible for changing it, Hiroshi Yamauchi, looks like a
Mhm.
mob. He looks like a Yakuza boss. Like, you look at it like, wow, this guy must have had people killed. Like, you look at him, and you're like, wow. Like, he wore the glasses. He looked like he looked, yeah. He just looked like that. So, but yeah, the Nintendo has a corporate side, but like, I think I like the artistic side. That's kind of why I'm not so worried about Nintendo. I'm glad Nintendo's not an American company, because I think if it was
Yeah.
an American company, it would have gone the way of Ubisoft and turned
Yeah.
to mush, in my opinion.
Well,
So
they have monstrous IPs that I don't think, like, yeah, there's some that contend with them, but they also have such a corner on the market for handheld. Like, I love my Steam Deck, but I'm not gonna give this to my kid.
no,
Like, my 6-year-old who's gonna sneeze all over it and it's gonna drop it, it's gonna break. It's fragile. It's not as, like, user intuitive in like the UI and everything like that. There's more of a learning curve. Whereas, I'll give them this. People don't understand, like older gamers, I feel like they don't understand that there needs to be, if someone is going to really challenge Nintendo's supremacy in the handheld market, they have to make a one of these basically, but has to be smaller so kids can use it. It has to not have basically be a computer. Like, they have to develop a friendly UI that is very easy for kids to use.
yeah,
And it's got to be durable. Like,
mm-hmm.
none of these debates about which is better, or the Switch or the Steam Deck, really matter, because parents are not going to buy their kid a Steam Deck or ROG Ally or any of those other ones. They're going to buy a Switch because that has Mario on it.
This Switch has been through hell. Like, it's
Yeah, right. They're
like,
durable.
I must have dropped this a billion times, and it still works.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. They make quality products and they make quality games, and they've taken risks in the past with the Wii U, and they've taken their hits, but yeah, they're not going anywhere. Like, and console wars don't really matter. They've got their audience. So.
Yeah, we used to so, well, one thing we kids used to love to do was brag about what we had. So I knew too many people that owned a Sega, and they used to quote the commercial and like be like, oh, well, Sega has this and
Sonic.
this, it has Sonic, and it has like this type of capability, and and RPMs, and you can do crazy stuff way better than Super Nintendo. And what's funny is, years later, I think in hindsight, the Super Nintendo completely destroyed Sega in that in that case. No matter how even Sega does what even though Sega does what Nintendo don't,
Yeah.
well,
But you never.
I miss those days.
Yeah, I missed them too. They were more innocent. The golden age of gaming was like towards the end of the SNES, into the N64, and then into the GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I equate the nerdy Neo. Okay, I keep getting it wrong. I know Genesis does what Nintendo. Okay, but, um, the I equate like super like the 8-bit era was like basically my really early days, developing, and then I consider like 16-bit era was when I was in like primary school, like from from first to like fifth grade, and then the N64, the 64, 32-bit, 64-bit, the fifth generation was adolescence for me,
Yeah.
and then GameCube era was like I was about to turn 17. I already had a job. I was able to buy my own consoles after that.
Yeah.
That beyond GameCube and beyond was basically adulthood for me. So, or
Yeah.
coming of age, ultimately coming of age. So, yeah, like the N64 to me was my adolescence basically.
Yeah.
So I that's how I equate the different generations of gaming.
Yeah.
And everything after that's been adult.
Yeah. I think I dropped off a bit when the Wii came out, and then I like, for some reason, that generation of gaming, I just didn't have one. I graduated college. That was I don't know when that came out. When did the Wii come out?
We came out in 06.
06?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in college at the time. I never owned
So was
one.
I.
And then I didn't really get back into gaming until the Switch. Really,
So
after
you
that.
missed out on the Wii U.
Yeah. I mean, all the Wii U games are out on the Switch anyways.
With the exception of Wind Waker and Twilight
Yes.
Princess Remastered,
Twilight
which
Princess.
is like I'm still baffled how those games did not. Oh, and Star Fox Zero,
Yeah.
the one where you had to look at two freaking screens. I couldn't play that game. My brother played it. I couldn't play it. I just
One of the first games I played for my X channel, my X account, was Star Fox again. It was so much fun.
the first one, the Super Nintendo one, or
Star Fox 64.
Star Fox 64 was my
Yeah.
introduction to Star Fox.
Yeah.
I never owned Star Fox, didn't play the Super Nintendo version until I got my Super Nintendo Mini. I don't know if it still works. I'll have to test it. But yeah, Star Fox 64 was the only Star Fox game I played and completed. I thought it was so cool. Like I think I played a little bit of a demo of it at a Target once. I was like, dude, I'm playing. I'm like, holy crap, this game is awesome. Like, this is really cool. And so,
did you have the Rumble Pack?
On N64, no.
Oh man,
I didn't experience the Rumble Pack until I got the GameCube, and the Rumble Pack was integrated into the GameCube controller, and that's how I first experienced it. So, yeah, because I know, like in Ocarina, you needed the Rumble Pack for the stone. What was it called?
Yeah,
the Stone of
Agony.
The Stone of Agony. The Stone of Agony. And I think whenever you came across like a hidden grotto, a hidden grotto or a hidden treasure, the Stone of Agony would basically cause the Rumble Pack to rumble.
Yeah. No, I thought that was kind of cool, but the fact that it was like a hit effect in Star Fox 64, like if you took damage, it rumbled.
Yeah,
that made the experience so much more.
So that it wasn't just the sound.
engaging.
It wasn't just the sound of being damaged. You felt it in your hands too, in the control.
Man, that was genius. Who would have thought? Just like, oh, we're gonna make something that attaches the controller and shakes.
Yeah, that's wild when you think about it. I don't think I've ever played a complete. I watched my buddy do it, but I never played a complete mission accomplished. Like
Oh,
every level
really?
mission
Oh
accomplished.
man, I was all about that. I went like
I think
7
I
games.
did beat like the right Andross. So like there's the fake Andross that
Yeah, yeah,
you fight if you go through the game with just mission completes. But if you go through
yeah,
at least a few mission accomplishes, you get to you so you enter Venom from the front if you want to get the bad ending, and you enter
yep,
Venom from the back if you want to get the good ending
yeah,
and everything. So I was surprised. I was just surprised how like different the boss fights were. Like in the one where you go in front, you're basically taking on the entire squadron. You're fighting through
yeah,
all these enemies in order to get there, and then you fight like the Star Wolf group, and then you go into the tunnel, and then you fight Andross. But
yeah.
then when you go in the back, I don't know if you still fight Star Wolf
Yes, if you go in the back, you fight Starwolf and his the new ships.
in the new.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you fight. Okay, all right.
But that game, like I have like all the dialogue memorized from all the characters, the voice act. Like when that game they
Hey,
re-released.
genius! I'm on your
Yeah.
side.
When they re-released it on the 3DS, they got new voice actors, and it just didn't feel the same. Um, and so someone modded the game to give it the old voice acting, and
Knock it off, Fox.
yeah.
Do a barrel roll.
um,
I guess I should be thankful.
yep, all of those. Slippy, oh man, those are good times.
Thanks,
But
Fox. I thought they
the
had me.
the another game I replayed again recently was Shadows of the Empire for
Yeah,
N64,
that
which
was
is an
the
awesome game.
that was the other. So I used to rent the N64. My folks
Mhm.
couldn't afford to get me an N64 when I
Yeah,
was younger, so we used to rent it
yeah,
from the video store.
Blockbuster, yeah.
Yeah, we the place we went to in Chicago here was called Line Video. It's long gone now, thanks to Netflix and
Yeah,
streaming in general. But um, they actually rented out the N64. They kept in like a nice leather case and all that. And if you rented the game, this was 96, $15 to rent it. And I used to pray every time we'd be on our way there. I used to pray that they would have it so that we could rent it because there was a possibility it could be out. Someone else could have
yeah.
rented it. So, but if you rented it, you got two games to go with it. So
Oh, nice.
it was always either when I first rented it, first played the N64 was Mario 64 and that game. And
Nice.
I was just getting into Star Wars. I was just getting into I got the
Yeah,
VHS Star Wars, the original Star Wars trilogy, and playing those games and playing the Hoth battle and playing,
yeah,
fighting in the asteroid. It felt like I was in the freaking movie, and it was
yeah.
3D. And it was so cool. Like it was
Well, it
just like
was
I used to look forward to that after I play Little League baseball on Saturdays, and I look forward to coming home and playing like
yeah,
all night and then Sunday morning all morning and everything.
yeah. And that game replaying it again, like it really showed again, this was all new technology for these developers, and it really was like this was proto Rogue Squadron. If you ever played Rogue Squadron,
I have.
and then
I
then
think after a certain point, I had to put in a cheat code in order to beat some of the later levels because some of the later levels were impossible to beat, like the
yes,
one in the volcano. So
yes, that one was tough. Um, but yeah, like you could tell, like nobody knew like what the best control scheme was for like a first person or a third person shooter. Um, it wasn't. It wouldn't be until like I think Halo came out where, yeah, Rogue Leader is incredible. Rogue
I haven't played that
Rogue
one.
Squadron 3, the Rebel Strike, that one sucks. Sorry if anybody likes it.
I
um,
haven't played. I honestly haven't played any of the GameCube ones. I've only played the N64 one.
the GameCube one, Rogue Leader, is incredible.
Okay.
Um, but I don't think that the dual, uh, like one is walk, one is look. I don't think that came out until Halo. I think Halo was the one that kind of popularized that control scheme, and then that just became standard.
Oh,
Yeah,
with the two
that kind of
joysticks
control.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
because GoldenEye, if you try to pick up a controller and play GoldenEye today,
I
it's
can't.
I can't do it.
I'm so used to the default controls now. Like I can't play. I tried to play GoldenEye. I tried to play Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Turok Dinosaur Hunter is impossible. So Yeah,
Yeah, you
N64
gotta
hasn't
get the
aged well
ones.
with me.
Someone before Metroid Prime Remastered came out, someone modded the Metroid Prime trilogy to have the dual stick control, so you could play it like a regular FPS.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's clearly that was standardized across the
I
across the
honestly,
industry.
I initially had I initially had an issue with with the Wii controller playing Prime 3, but
Yeah,
then I just got used to it, and then I bought the Prime trilogy. I still have the Metroid Prime trilogy for the Wii on my
yeah,
shelf, and I am used to. Oh,
got it right here.
you got to, yes. Yeah, don't get rid of it. Those I mean, they were rare back, not rare, but they were rare back when they first came out in 09. Like they only sold limited copies. So
I don't even own a Wii right now, but I still have that.
yeah, don't
It's
get
so
rid of
cool.
it. I have that, and another game that's really rare that I have is Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes on the GameCube. Like
Oh
now
yeah,
GameCube games are becoming like they're selling like really expensive now. So
I know. Yeah, I thought I'd be able to get retro games cheap now, but nope. What is that? Nerdy Neo, you're playing Star Fox 64 for retro achievements. Is
yeah,
that
so he has this little way of playing games, older games, and you know how, like, you have achievements on like Xbox. Well,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
this he has this thing where he plays for like retro achievements, and so he can explain it in the chat and all that, but
Does he make the achievements or is it like
no,
a
I I don't think he makes them, but if you do, he will invite you on to talk to you. He will explain it to you in vivid
Okay.
detail. So
You
um
piqued my interest, Nerdy Neo. Prime
yeah.
1 and 2 are tied. Yes. Yep.
Prime Remastered, man, I still haven't completed it, but that game is looks so good. Like it
Yeah.
looks so good the way they did it. I'm curious why we haven't seen Prime 2 and Prime 3 yet. I'm still waiting for
Yeah.
those.
I'm a little surprised. Prime, I mean, that game is, I would say, few games I'd call a masterpiece. Prime, it's so good.
That was my gateway into Metroid, was playing Prime, seeing the GameCube one, and I was like, hey, I remember Metroid. I remember that Game Boy game, that weird looking Game Boy game commercial years
Yeah.
ago, and that was it. And I was like, okay. And then I borrowed my friend's copy, and my friend's like, if you like this, you'll love Super Metroid. I'm like, Super Metroid, what's that? You'll know when you play it. You'll know it when you play it. And then I
Yeah.
played
Well, I mean,
Super Metroid, and I'm like, wow.
that and Symphony of the Night was where Metroidvania came from. Those two games.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a
Yeah.
fan of those, you got to play at least one of them.
I'm fan. I mean, Super Metroid's my number one Metroidvania, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night is my number two.
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
I played Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this because there's RPG elements and the Metroidvania, and it was very different from the other Castlevanias. And I'm playing, I'm like, holy crap, this is better than the other Castlevanias. What am I talking about? And I liked how Igarashi, the creator, the designer of Symphony of the Night, said, "Oh, I wasn't thinking of Metroid. I was thinking of Zelda when I made this." I'm like,
Yeah.
your freaking map is
Is
exactly
it-
is the exact same style as Super Metroid. Give me a break.
Yeah. Symphony of the Night's overrated.
No, it's not. Nerdy Neo, you and AC are overrated. So another buddy of mine, AC, Angry Canadian, we like to disagree and argue about stuff. So, and they both give me a lot of crap because I don't play as many video games now because I don't know, I work and I drive and I'm an adult. I don't know. There's so many things. There's so many things to do.
Yeah,
And
trust me,
you have
man.
to like in gaming. I have to make choices, and
Yes.
I have to, like, well, how am I going to use my time? How am I going to use my time wisely to my
Yep.
liking and everything? And video games have been kind of low on that priority for now.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
By
if
the
you
way,
want,
I just
like,
figured out, since I'd never used this SteamYard before, that comments is the chat. So sorry if anybody was chatting. I haven't been watching it. But now I see that comments is the chat. There you
yeah.
go.
Oh, you can't. Can you see the chat?
Now I can. Yeah, I had to click on comments instead of private chat.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
why that threw me off. I was looking for where the chat was, but whatever.
All right. So it's been a couple hours.
Yeah.
I've been up for a while. So once again, thanks for doing this. This like all chillporials, this was a great one. And
Yeah.
I like everything has to have a sequel now, even a chillporial stream with a guest. So so is there so what would be what would be the hook for a sequel? Like
I
I
don't know.
think go further into, because we didn't really we kind of touched upon like Ocarina's like the like some of the design and the philosophy, but we actually haven't talked about, like, we haven't, I mean, we talked about one of the dungeons, but we haven't talked about the others and all that.
Right.
So
Well, I
um
wouldn't mind finishing up Ocarina and going into Majora's Mask. That's on my short list of next games to play. There's a PC port of it I really want to try. Um, Also, we didn't really touch on why Tears of the Kingdom didn't didn't stick for either of us, but we could talk about that too, because
stay
it's
tuned on the
stay
next
tuned next
tutorial.
time.
We'll find out why Tears of the Kingdom
That's
didn't
right.
work out. I do actually want to revisit it, but I would have to. What's funny is I still have the same save state. I would have to, because it's been over a couple years now, because I think it came out like 2 years ago, July. Um, I'll have to start the game over if I'm going to revisit it. So, yeah.
That's a
But
bummer.
yeah, that's life. What can I say?
Yeah.
So is there anything? Is there anything that you are? So you're still playing a Ninja Gaiden game?
Yeah, well, that one's kind of done. This is the struggle. It's like I only have so little time to game that like I really do want to get like the gamer in me wants to play it until I get everything, but I have, like, if I want to create more content for my channel, it's like I have to move on, and play other things. So right now I'm working on compiling a short video, a short reflection for Ocarina of Time, and I'll probably do one for Resident Evil 7 and 8. But the next game I play to like share about and then eventually do a short video on, it's still kind of up in the air. I might do Majora's Mask. Um, we'll see. So I've never actually played Deus Ex Machina. I've heard great things about it. But that's another thing too. It's like I want to play all these great games, but I know some of them require like a huge time commitment. And so right now I'm kind of locked into playing, keep streaming and play. Oh, maybe. Oh, that's another thing. I do want to try to get into streaming more. Like I was looking at Kick before this, but I don't know. Again, time, like the time I have to spend like researching how to do stuff is time I could be playing, and then my kids wake up. So it's things will happen, but slow. But for now, follow me on X, follow me on YouTube and Rumble, and I'll keep people updated on stuff. But this was a ton of fun. I could talk about this for another couple hours, but it's late.
Yeah, and our Ernest Ferratu has a long history of bullying me into, every time I post a video or a stream, he's like, "Is it Deus Ex? If it's not Deus Ex, I'm not interested in everything." But yeah, one of these days I do have to. One of these days I do have to play them eventually.
Yeah.
So
Oh, something else I'm doing is I do follow a lot of indie developers. I like supporting them. I like sharing their work. So occasionally I'll put up like a stream.
I'm following a few actually through you. So yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I get to put into practice what I'm learning about game design, especially because they want feedback. They want play testers. So we both benefit from it. They get more exposure. I get to practice and play, and they share what I share. So that's also something I'm doing too. Game demos from indie developers.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for participating in Chillporio. I try to make these things engaging and as fun as possible. Um, not as fun, not as fun as, not as fun as a game, not as fun as playing a video game, but something close where, you know, I like to give, I like to give the guests, you know, agency. They can talk about whatever they want. They feel like they're heard, and talk about stuff that is within, you know, wheelhouses, and I get to connect, and I get the, like I said earlier, helps me develop my listening skills, because and my communication skills, and I think it's a really good thing. It's really wonderful to have a dialogue, and not be, I mean, sometimes a good conflict is fun, but
nah,
it's not stressful. It's stressful, and then it gets personal, and things can go south really quickly. So I prefer.
Then we have an X battle through tweets and stuff.
Yeah, and I've seen relationships crumble because of that. So so I try not to be that way myself. So, but yeah, for me, I have a couple more. I have a Chilporeal next week with an old friend that I haven't talked to in a while, so I can't wait to catch up with him. And then a couple weeks, my friend Salty, who was in the chat earlier, I'm going to be having him on, and another friend, Wakizashi, and we're going to be talking about, well, comics and comics, and I'm going to be going to a Comic-Con, so I am a normie when it comes to comics, so I'll be asking them a bunch of questions and all that. I'll be the baby in the group. These guys are the vets. So, awesome. But that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I do want to reach out to more people on X, people who I think would, you know, who I think would want to have a conversation, all that and everything. So, that's reaching out. And I do have to make more videos. I do need to make more videos and everything. So, so that's pretty much it. So, say everybody, thanks for being here. I didn't make an outro for this one, but I have an old outro that I think is fitting for this particular one. And here we go. So, all right, everybody, have a good night. Stay safe. Have a good weekend. Stay incorporeal.
Good night.